sanding is really boring to watch. So it's all done. Now, I did not take every little bit of the blacking or the bluing off. I'm going to be spray painting this, so there's no point in me stripping it completely down, because some of these recessed areas I'm not going to bother sanding any further. They're pretty good. But these surfaces are smooth and not quite pit-free, but they're pretty close. So, good enough. Next up, I'm going to work on the scope. It's all the scope parts. I can use Krylon satin black to paint that little scope tip. Ta-da! Attached. I just used that, my battery cut out while I was filming. E6000 on this guy. A little bit of glue. You can see right there. Let's see if I can pick it. Well, it's a little cold and snowy for spray painting, so gotta hold off for a day or two for it to warm up. Alright, I've been debating on how I'm gonna do the coloring for the base Mauser here. It's definitely gonna be spray paint, but I've been trying to figure out if I'm gonna do flat or I'm going to do a semi-gloss. And the tricky part is the original prop was painted all basically one color. Like they had all the parts on there and they just kind of painted over it. So everything's kind of the same color except for the grips, which are a little bit shinier. So I don't know that I want to do that, but I want to match the sheen to be similar to the anodized parts. And I don't think the semi-gloss quite does it. It's a little off. It bugs me a little bit, and I don't know, it just doesn't look right. But I think maybe I'll build a test strip of metal, spray paint it with a flat black and satin black, and then I'll do sections of different treatments where I polish it with steel wool or a rag or sandpaper or something like that, and then, you know, have little experiments, and then I'll try to match it. So I think that's what I'm going to do now. I've got a piece of metal. I'm going to cut off a strip, clean it up, and mark it off, and use it for my little test piece. I'm making a swatch to show the differences between flat black and semi-gloss and polished flat black and different treatments on flat black, basically. And that way I can make a decision on how I'm going to deal with this Mauser. Just going to start off by masking off parts, which I've already done several sections. Piece of paper towel for this. I'm just going to polish it with this. And for now, this section I'm going to do a little bit of steel wool. two of those in half. Alright, here's my backside of my swatches with the labels. Alright, I have painted all my parts flat black, and they look good. I got all the little pieces up here on the sticks here, and the lower sitting up here hanging. It's been sitting there drying for the last 72 hours, just because I've been too busy to do anything about it. So I think I'm gonna start working on rubbing this down. I think I'm gonna go with the towel paper, or paper towel finish, which is very similar to the semi-gloss, but not quite as shiny. Get rid of this tape. There we go. Alright, now it's time to reassemble the Denix. This part sucks. Putting in the trigger and the hammer, the little springs, is not fun, and it's not easy. So, anyways, enjoy. Next up, I need to do the sight here. Just gotta put it together. It's pretty simple. Just a couple pins there. Gentle tap here. Don't want to over tighten because those parts are brass. It will break. inches. Most of the way. Just gotta do these guys and the little cube. They don't fit. They did before. I think the metal must have shrunk, or this heated up and expanded. Alright, I was able to get some of these through, but this one sits on top, so I've got to do something to push it down before I do the pop rivet. This one goes down further, not quite all the way, but pretty close. So this one doesn't really go down either. But they basically just pop in here like so. So I'm gonna get a piece of tube to push those down. So I'm gonna use one of my X-Wing guns I was making out of aluminum and brass and cut it down and use that. One of the rejects I bent. Perfect. Next problem I have is the pop rivet gun does not go into that recess. So it doesn't go down far enough. So I need to make a little thing that this can push against so it'll pull that. Well, maybe it will work. It's just gonna pull. Let's give it a try. That did not go according to plan. I was right. Alright, after 2 failed attempts, I finally got it. Had to drill out that rivet a couple times and replace it, and drilling it out, it spun the cylinder. Scratched it all up, so I'll have to deal with that. Not fun. But that's okay, I know how to do it now. I had to make my own little tool, which allows me to put pressure on it when it's in the recess. So I just slide it in here. And then the pop rivet tool can put pressure on it. Alright, I'm going to do the other two. So you hit those with a little bit of paint. That guy with a little paint. Okay, last little guy. It's got to be this little bump-on guy. And I need to look at a picture for reference, just make sure I get the position exactly correct. But I'm just going to glue it down. Already put some on. I'm calling it done, except for a little bit of paint on the rivets and fixing up these little scratch marks that I put in. Looks good.